My commentary on this show is very harsh. It is very precise. It might be something that you guys can't stomach if you guys aren't able to handle such criticism, then this might not be the channel for you guys. So I would encourage you guys, if you might find my content offensive, just exit the channel. There's no need to flag this channel or this show at all. So again, if you guys cannot handle that kind of commentary, then I understand. Just click that red X in the top right corner and just leave the video. So for everybody else that understands what we're doing here, this is what we're here to talk about. So here we go. There was a Texas father that was charged with child abandonment Friday after his 6-year-old daughter strangled her 1-year-old brother with a seatbelt while he left them alone in a car to go shopping at a thrift store. I'm going to say that for you guys again. A Texas father was charged with child abandonment Friday after his 6-year-old daughter strangled her 1-year-old brother with a seatbelt while the father left them alone in the car to go shopping. So here's the messed up part. Number one, no, there's a lot of parts to this. Number one, don't leave your children in the car. Can we just stop doing that? Can we all be in agreement to that and say, parents in general, men, women, whoever, grandparents, stop leaving the children in the car. You can't forget these children. They are innocent. They are defenseless. They cannot defend themselves. We have to be responsible as caretakers and as parents. Don't leave your kids in the fucking car. Please, we got to stop doing that. Okay, that's number one. Number two, how long he was gone inside this thrift store is a whole nother problem. This gentleman right here by the name of Adrian Middleton, he is 26 years old from Houston, and he was arrested last week, but on Monday was no longer in police custody in connection with the May 20th incident where the child Adrian Middleton Jr. fell victim to homicide by strangulation. So here's what happened. The dad told law enforcement that he gave the youngsters snacks and water and turned on the air conditioning and played a movie before leaving them alone in the vehicle for 30 to 45 minutes. This is what he told police. I don't give a shit how long it was. I don't care how long it was. You don't leave kids in the car. That's not what you do. He's 26 years old. I'm sorry. He should damn well know better. I had my daughter at age 24. You should know better, period. There's no excuse for that. Age is not an excuse for that, because if we're going to be bringing children into this world, we need to be 100% responsible for them. Just as well as I'm going to get on to the women, I'm going to get on to the fathers, especially the fact that I remember what it was like to be his age, especially with kids this age. All right? Now let's keep going. However, surveillance cameras showed that he was not gone for 30 to 45 minutes. Guess how long he was gone? Even 5 minutes in the car is dangerous. Absolutely. How long do y'all think he was gone? I'll wait. Hashtag stop leaving kids in the car. Thank you, Leslie. I like that. I love them hashtags. These kids weren't left in the car based on what he said, which means he lied, because they have him on surveillance camera and said he was gone from 10:45 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. How long is that? He left them kids in there about an hour and a half. Shopping in a thrift store. There is so much wrong with this, but let's keep going before I give my commentary. The defendant claimed to have checked on the children through a store window and thought they were fine. Oh, man. Brothers, we got to do better, man. We got to do better. What we can't do is we can't keep begging for custody of these kids. We can't keep begging for law leniency. And then we turn around and we're doing stuff like this. We can't. This is making us all look bad. And you know what? If the women are saying that the men don't want to step up and be fathers and they're irresponsible and they're this and that, well, you know what? If we keep giving them reasons to say this type of stuff about us, I'm sorry, like we can't be defended on some of this stuff as a whole. So men, we have to absolutely do better. For Adrian Middleton, he needs to suffer for what he did. That's wrong. It's egregious. There's no excuse for it, period. He said he checked through a store window. You can't check on kids from a store window, even if the car was parked right by the freaking store window. Your kids shouldn't have been in the damn car, period. You should have took your black ass out there and went to go check on them damn kids, get the kids out of the car. They should have never been in the car. Let's keep going. I'll try to mind my mouth, but y'all know how I get sometimes because this is just wrong. But again, they got this on video footage and he didn't even know it. Middleton also said he had strapped the pair in the car seats, but later admitted there were none present. Again, he lied. That's not a good sign to be lying and lying and lying, because then you're not going to be able to be believed. He said when he returned to the Harris County parking lot to load his purchases in the trunk, he found his daughter crying, requesting to use the bathroom. When he asked where her brother was, she told him she did something bad. Keep in mind, guys, this is a 6-year-old girl. She's a baby. Okay? After seeing the 1-year-old's feet from the trunk, from the open trunk, he raced around to the driver's side of the motor of the car and saw his son in the rear seat with a seatbelt wrapped around his neck. He removed the seatbelt and attempted to perform CPR on the toddler until paramedics arrived. The little boy was pronounced dead later at Texas Children's Hospital, which is just a formality at that point. Middleton claimed the little girl did not respond initially when he asked what happened. She told authorities her brother began crying while her parent was in the store first, was in the first store, so she played with him to get him to stop. Again, you're leaving a 1-year-old in the care of a 6-year-old, Dad. You can't do that. But when he stopped, when she stopped playing with him and he cried again, she became angry and tightened the seatbelt around his neck. When he fell unconscious, she believed he had simply fallen asleep. The incident occurred when Middleton was inside the second venue, Thrift Family Store. So not only did he leave these kids in the car once, but he did it twice. It just makes it that much more worse. The peace officer assigned to the Special Victims Division at the Child Abuse Unit of the Houston Police Department signed a sworn affidavit in regards to the tragedy. R.C. Johnson visited the hospital and spoke to Middleton, who was still with his daughter and staff members. The affiant said that the child witness knew the difference between fact and fiction, so her story was credible and reliable. I hate the fact that they even have to question a 6-year-old. But let's keep going. Middleton was scheduled to appear in court on Monday. The affiant was told by Middleton he'd been thrift shopping. The child witness confirmed that he had been buying clothes in her interview with Harris County Children's Assessment Center. Prosecutors claim Middleton put his son at unreasonable risk of harm, namely, and reasonable person would have believed that such circumstances will place the complainant in imminent danger of death, bodily injury, physical impairment, and mental impairment. I'm going to read that again, so I want you guys to catch something from here. I want you guys to think about what was said here. And I want to say hi to everybody. I see y'all speaking in there. Usually when I start doing the show, that's why I try to give the shout outs at the beginning, so that way I don't actually stop the show to do that. But I do see y'all in there. What's going on? Y'all know I love y'all. But I want y'all to notice something here. Why couldn't he bring the kids in the store? Domino asked. Well, he did it twice. 2 different times. So apparently he was lucky the first time. But I want y'all to notice the difference with this story that I'm doing right now compared to the story that I did yesterday. Does anybody see a correlation here? I want to see if anybody catches this. You guys remember the man that shot the AK-47 after his girlfriend showed up to his house and busted out all his windows? He shot the gun and hit the little girl in the head that was in the car and she died. Y'all remember that? Does anybody see the correlation yet? I'm going to give y'all a moment to write this down. 210 people watching. Do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up. It'll share the show and let other people know that we're live. If my moderators would, let me know how many thumbs up we have. But I want y'all to answer that question for me. What's the correlation from the story I did last night from the man that stepped out of the house, the Darnell biting dude, stepped out and shot his AK-47, and the bullets ended up missing the woman and hit a little girl and killed the little girl, which was her daughter. You remember that story? Okay, cool. Does anybody piece the correlation together? I'm going to read this part again and see if y'all make the correlation. Prosecutors claim Middleton put his son at unreasonable risk of harm, namely, and a reasonable person would have believed that such circumstances would place the complainant in imminent danger of death, bodily injury, physical impairment, and mental impairment. Guys, we at least need to have 200 thumbs up. Come on, man. We only got, what, 2 people that have donated to the show? 3 people donated to the show. Only 3 people have donated to the show, and all I ask y'all to do is just hit the thumbs up. Please. So here we go. This is the correlation. What's up, Notorious B said, I would say the emotional response. Check this out. This is the correlation from that story I did last night compared to this one. That mother was not charged with anything when she brought her kids over to her ex-boyfriend's house, knocked on the door, he didn't answer, so she took some type of object and started busting out his front door windows, then started busting out his front living room windows, busted out all his windows. And in order to scare this girl off, he came out with an AK-47 and shot. And she brought her 4 children and grandmother there too. 4 children and grandmother. Does anybody catch the correlation yet? Okay, I don't see anybody typing it. So here we go. The correlation is that the mother from last night also put her children at an unreasonable risk of harm, namely, and a reasonable person would have believed that in such circumstances, considering the fact that she knew that this dude was violent and a drug dealer, and took her 4 children over there and grandmother and left them in the car while she went to go destroy this man's house. And he came and thank you. Chevelle said it, and put the children in harm's way. No regard for the children. That was my point. I just thought I'd throw that out there so you guys could kind of see where I was going with that, because I thought it was an interesting correlation. That's another reason why I wanted to pick this story up. You guys catch that? Let's keep going. It's not the lesson what this dude did. The dude we're talking about in this story is Adrian Middleton. This is not the lesson what he did at all. We're saying what both of them did was messed up. The difference is he's going to be charged. The mother from last night is not going to be charged at all. Let's keep going. It adds on that Middleton did not voluntarily deliver the complainant to a designated emergency infant care provider before abandoning the infant. Middleton's brother told ABC 13 he never intended for this to happen and that it was an accident. I do believe it was an accident, but just like I said, he's still being irresponsible. The publication reports the daughter is now staying with her grandmother and that the Child Protective Service offered to help the family, but it's not clear if they have accepted. The child will not face charges because of her age, Houston police said. She's a 6-year-old. I really honestly don't believe the 6-year-old knew any better. That's not her responsibility to take care of that little boy. That was the dad's responsibility. We're still sitting at 157 thumbs up. Come on, guys. Please, 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 for me, before I start playing this video, can y'all please hit the thumbs up? Yeah, exactly. Double standard as usual. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and do the fair usage, and then we'll go ahead and show you guys the videos that we have. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
26-year-old Adrian Middleton has been charged with abandoning a child. Investigators say that in May, he went inside of a thrift store and went shopping for an hour and 40 minutes, leaving his 1-year-old son and his 6-year-old daughter in the car. He told investigators that when he returned to the car, that a seatbelt was wrapped around the 1-year-old's neck and he was unconscious. According to investigators, the 6-year-old said that she had wrapped the seatbelt around the 1-year-old's neck. And again, that father is now charged with abandoning a child.
Rightfully so.
26-year-old Adrian Middleton turned himself in to Baytown police. Now, that charge is actually a Houston police case, but he is from the Baytown area. So he turned himself into Baytown police in the past hour, and from there he'll be brought over to Houston to the county jail, where he will again face charges of abandoning a child. Now, his family says it was all a mistake. Father Adrian Middleton faces an abandoning child charge after his 1-year-old son died. Police say it all happened when Middleton was inside this East Houston thrift store shopping, leaving his son and 6-year-old daughter in the car. Investigators say while he was inside, tragedy happened. Middleton's daughter says her little brother was crying. She got angry and wrapped a seatbelt around the 1-year-old. She later told police the boy stopped crying and she thought he was asleep. Middleton told investigators he looked out the store window to check on his kids while he was shopping. Surveillance video showed, though, he never did. In fact, investigators say Middleton spent approximately 1 hour and 40 minutes in the store without checking on his children who had been left in the car. Middleton did not return our calls. His brother told us Middleton never meant for that to happen, saying it was an accident. And again, we have also reached out to Middleton's family to ask for further comment. We have not heard back from them. As far as that 6-year-old girl, she is currently staying with her grandmother. And according to Houston police, CPS has offered them services if necessary.
I want to revisit this just a little bit, okay? I'm going to revisit this just a little bit because I'm going to make this thing really short. I'm not going to take too much of y'all time, but this is something I want to talk about.
Abandoning a child. Now, his family says it was all a mistake. Father Adrian Middleton faces an abandoning child charge after his 1-year-old son died. Police say it all happened when Middleton was inside this East Houston thrift store shopping.
Question. When you guys go to Walmart, when you guys go shopping, when you guys go to any of these places, am I just tripping, or is it not like the most common thing in the world for you to take your kids with you? You go to, I don't know, go to Target. Like, where do you guys go? You go to the mall? Why would you not take your kids with you? That's what I don't understand. The mind of a 26-year-old, I don't understand. Why would you not take your kids with you?
Leaving his son and 6-year-old daughter in the car. Investigators say while he was inside.
And a 1-year-old. This is the thing. Especially when it comes to a 1-year-old. I guess I could fathom the idea of a 6-year-old maybe being. No, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I can't make no excuse for this at all. So to the family, the Middleton family, if you guys end up watching this story, if you guys want to reach out to me, then my email address is right here. Then I'd be more than happy to talk to you guys about this. If you guys have any insight, maybe something I'm missing. This is not a mistake. This was a conscious choice. That's the difference. I want everybody to understand what I'm saying. This is not This is not a mistake, especially when you did it twice. You went to one store and you left the kids in the car. Then you went to another store and left the kids in the car for an hour and a half. That's not a mistake. There's certain things that can be classified as a mistake. To me, this is not one of those. We have to be very careful when we convict somebody of something. And I think that this is one of those situations where whatever he gets charged with is going to be sufficient, no matter what it is. Whether you charge him with a lot or charge him with a little, I think it's still sufficient, because at the end of the day, he does need to pay for what he did. Because now your son is not here anymore on this earth due to your actions, due to your bad judgment. That was a decision you made, not a mistake. That was a choice you made, and that was a choice you made twice in the same day. To leave a 1-year-old abandoned in a car? Come on, guys. Like, we hear about this all the time. If you have to leave the air conditioning on in the car, if it's that warm, that's a problem. Okay, and another thing that makes this even worse, the fact that this is in Houston. You guys hear me talk about Houston statistics sometimes. One of the worst things that can happen out in Houston, carjackings. So you're leaving your car running with kids in it, knowing that there are a community of people in Houston that love to steal cars. It's not like he's not privy to that information. Everybody knows it, because as soon as I got to Houston, the people at the hotels was telling me. People at the gas stations was telling me. I was like, damn, is it that bad? So if you live in Houston, you would have to know this, right? Thank you, Egoozes Me. That's exactly what I just brought up. I know I'm a little bit ahead of you guys, and you guys are hearing me kind of as I'm talking 30 seconds behind. If somebody had stolen that car, anything could have happened. You guys just heard about the story a couple stories ago where those young men stole that car. And what if they didn't know the kids was in the car, and then they turn around and wreck that car because they were trying to steal it? Kids still would have been dead because you left them there. You can't do that. I'm surprised no one called the police on him. I know someone seen the kids in the car. They might not have, though. That's actually a good observation, Danielle. I know sometimes they see it, but sometimes they don't. Because if you think about this, how many times do you guys go from store to store to store and you're looking inside somebody's car? Just think about that. Answer that question for me. How many times do you guys pull up in a parking lot, and as you're walking into a store, how many of y'all actually look inside of other people's cars? I'm not sure. Because like I said, I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just simply asking. We got one person that says she does. Rare. Okay, Risha said rarely. Okay, I get it. Yes, Leslie, very good. Very good. She said, or the little girl could have got behind the wheel of the car too. It was running. If he said that the car was running and the air conditioning was on, that means he had to probably left the keys in the car. Okay, process of elimination. If he's shopping at the thrift store, what are the chances that he has automatic start on his car? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he probably just left the keys in the car. Process of elimination. If he's broke enough to be shopping at the thrift store, which there's nothing wrong with doing that. Some people might just do it just for the hell of it. Hell, I know millionaires and billionaires that don't spend a whole lot of money on clothes and shoes. And I know niggas that ain't got no money and ain't got $1 to their name. And females that ain't got $1 to their name, they can find them some red bottoms and bags, and dudes will find Jordans. So I know that there's definitely a dynamic that doesn't necessarily qualify this as he ain't got no money. I know that. I get it. But I'm just saying, I'm assuming that he probably doesn't have a whole lot of money. The best thing that you can do if you so-called make a mistake is to own up to the mistake as a grown man. I don't know what it is about our young black men that feel the need to lie and deceive people to save their own skin. Our sisters do it too. A lot of people in the black community tend to do this. I'm only familiar with the black community. People ask me to do stories about other communities of people. Well, hell, I'm not familiar with their community. I'm not a white community expert. I'm not an Asian community expert. I'm not a Latino Mexican community expert. I'm none of that. But I am a black community expert. And one thing that I can tell you is this. When you're in a situation, in a bad situation like this, and you find out that something has happened to your kid, you call 911. Things happen, shit happens. People do leave their kids in the car. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. It happens. But be accountable. I think that the courts actually would have some leniency if you would have just been honest and said, you know what? I thought the kids would have been okay. I left them in the car. I fucked up. Judge, I honestly messed up. My daughter didn't mean to do it, and I damn sure didn't mean to leave them in a harmful position. I think that works, and it's honest. But to sit there and say, well, I wasn't in the store for that long, and well, I only went to one place, and I did this and I did that. When you start lying about stuff, I think that makes it worse. Joker Dan said, take responsibility. Miss Parker Lynn said, accountability. I like that. Own up to your mistake. Thank you, Amy Okami. I appreciate that. So let this serve as a lesson to all the parents, especially the men, because I know some of us men aren't used to having children in our custody. This is not something that is natural to us. But I will tell you this, if you have children in your possession, in your custody, you have to absolutely be conscious about anything and everything. Or don't have them in your custody. If you're not used to it, you better start getting used to it. Because those children are defenseless. They cannot defend themselves. And they damn sure can't do a whole lot of thinking for themselves, especially being 1 year old and 6 years old. This child has now lost another life due to adults' negligence. We cannot stand for that, and we will not speak highly about that. We'll continue to call these stories out until this type of action ceases, period. We don't want it to happen anymore, and I want us to start holding people accountable.